Hello, class. Just checking if you have your speakers on and your camera on so you'll be able to see me. And it's going to wait for a few more minutes so you can get settled in before we all start. And today's topic is mainly about business communication. So we're just going to discuss about the assignment and how I can help you to do them better. So make sure your speaker or your earphones are plugged in, turn on, and you can hear me loud and clear. All right, make sure you got your assignments on as well. Business communication assignment. That's for you guys at UTM. Business communication assignment. Just open it up. Then you can take notes on your laptop or your phone, or the best would be having a book so you can write it down. All right, we'll just give it one more minute so you guys can be ready. And then we're gonna start real quick. All right, so let's just begin. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope that you guys are doing well and taking care of yourself. Um, so today we will be talking about UTM course, and subject matter would be business communication. So it's gonna go to you briefly about communication. So what is actually business communication? Well, it's just a form of communication, really. Well, before we actually look into that, we have to understand what is a communication. Communication is just simply, for example, us delivering and communicating a message through a process. So what are the process? That would be me as a lecturer will be speaking to you right now using my voice, words, my facial expression, my hand gesture, right? And you be able to see them as you be able to receive them, and then you interpret that information into a useful knowledge so you can help you either to be better at your studies or use it in your life. So the clearer the communication is using a simple word or facial expression or even my tone of voice can help you receive better information. It can get very complex more than this. For example, if I were to shout, I would say, sit up, guys. Right? You would sit up. Focus here, right? You'd be focusing. So the tone variation in voice versus the expression of face and my hand gesture will prompt you to do things differently. So that is one way of communication. However, given that the diverse background that we all have, we could be living anywhere in the world, and then we have different cultures in us that we practice and respect. For example, in Asia country like Japan, in a meeting for someone to ask the colleague about their work and question them about their work is seen as offensive and rude. But in the Western world, it's totally normal, right? We can ask about, can you tell me how do you do this? How do you achieve that results? But some other people will feel that it's very offensive, that how can you question my work here, right? So we have to keep that in mind. But in across the board business, we would have to speak in a more respectful language, right? To be use the business term that everyone will be able to understand universally, because you're doing business and most of the business are not just in your state itself, but it's cross state, or somehow it might be even international business. You want to be able to communicate to them using words that they have probably known. For example, we have said your financial quarter result, or your year-to-year result, year-to-year report, right? All of these are business terms. So that is something that you would need to learn when you were to be going into business, either working or owning a business in the future, so that everyone would be able to understand what are you trying to say. Otherwise, it will be like a dog talking to a cat, or a cat to the dog. So it'll be very funny, right? Okay, so now you understand a little bit more about business communications. This when you view this video, I assume that you have gone through the studies about business communication, and also the audio that we provided, and the PowerPoint slides that you guys have. So we're just gonna dive in real quick about this business communication assignment. So I'm just gonna read it out for you. So have your assignments switched on and you can see it. So it says that identified a communication related problem in your organization and determine its causes, what caused it, and explain why it happened, and provide recommendation to solve the problem. You are also required to draw up an action plan to execute the recommendations. So that itself tells us a lot. So either you have past experience working in a company before, or as a part-time worker to be working in a company, or you're working right now, or if you don't, it's fine too. I'm gonna talk about that in a while. So, but if you already have working experience, you might encounter a problem related to communication in your organization. Be you felt that your supervisors, managers are not sharing as much information to you as you would like, because somehow some people like a bigger picture, meaning that, okay, we have to be able to achieve 20% of sales target by end of this month, and that's a big picture. And your day-to-day work will be try to get more customer. But how are we going to get more customer is either cold calling, you can do on promotions, right? Go on the street, give out flyers. Those are the different avenues, right? Is the manager or supervisor communicating or make you feel supported enough to make that happen? So there are challenges of communication that happen, or delivery that's supposed to be there and you received it and you have no idea you will be receiving a delivery, and then you panic and you're like, what happened here? Like, delivery for who? So those are the challenges you might have faced in your previous work uh, that have happened, or you find it very hard to be able to do your work because uh, there are information that's not being transferred to you. So that could be a problem, right? So in what areas do you felt difficult when you are working at that time? So that's a problem, right? Use that problem, and then we can then understand what causes this problem, right? It can be uh, us as employee not talking to our supervisors or managers enough about things that we are not sure, or we are confused, or we are not sure truly what they want, or we feel stressed or without support. So we can raise this question to our managers or supervisors to let them know that we are experiencing this, and you find it very challenging, and how they can help. So that would create a better working relationship, right? So every causes of the problem have a solution to it. So you would need to find a solution, and then you have to explain it how to make that solution work, right? So for those that doesn't have a working experience, I think you can either make it up, right? Or you can find it on the internet. What are the common problems in a company or organizations, right? That's facing a communication problem. And then once you have that, that will be a reference for you to be able to use and understand that particular case study. So you can find it on internet. I was just gonna say that you can actually use your house. There's communication going on between your parents to you, siblings, right? People around you. That could be one of the things that you can use, but some people might not feel uncomfortable enough. But if you can view that as a company or organization, and then you'll be able to determine, would this communication be effective, and how can you make it more better for everyone? That could be an example, but it's more challenging. So I would suggest that you go to internet to find the company or organization challenges in communication. All right, you can just type easily and find it, have a read, understand it, and then you can use that as your writing in your assignments. Okay, so right now, to be able to help you answer a little bit better, right, there are steps that you would need to do. So for example, according to your assignments here, number one, a write-up on communication. So you have to define what communication is, right? And then explain the process of communications, the good effect and the bad effect of communication, and the benefits of good communication. So this is just to give it more example and understanding, because when people read your assignments, they'll be able to understand if they are not a very specialized person studying this subject. When they read your assignments, they can tell right away straight, hey, I understand what you're trying to say. Communication is supposed to be this, this, and this, or what is communication is. So finishing your assignments, once they read it, they can easily understand what are you trying to say. We even then doesn't have the knowledge about this, okay? So first, your introduction would have to be that about communication. What is communication? You define the communications, the process, explain about it, the effect of bad communication, the benefits of good communication, right? It can be a lot. Good communication, right? And also number two, a brief introduction of your organization. So that means tell about what does your company do, right? What how's the process like, um, and then the communication process of the company. How many people is in the company, right? How's the structure of reporting? The big boss, CEO, then the director or managers, the supervisors, and then employees, right? You can even draw a diagram out and then paste it in your assignment just to give a clearer picture how your organization works and who is communicating to who. And during meeting, do have you guys need to all sit in together with the CEO or boss or director to communicate. uh, these are the things that you would have to include so people know exactly, this is the business they are doing and this is how they functioned. Just briefly as an introduction, to tell people that this is your organization and the company and how many people are involved, right? And what kind of work. So that really helps. Subject number three, that number three will be very easy. The current communication problem faced in your organization, right? What's the current problem of communication faced in your organization now? And then the causes, what cause all these problems, what do you think causes all these problems and why it happened, right? The causes can be a lot. It can be just verbal communication, telling, I need this word, can you help me with this word because I need it next week, right? That sounds like a very simple communication, but a lot can go wrong, meaning that what kind of particular work do they need from us to be able to support their work to submit next week, right? Then we need to know when they are submitting and by when do they need us to deliver the work. Can we do it, right? Sometimes we have plans and deadlines that we have to make sure that we are doing it properly too, to be able to meet them, right? And also, yes, that can be that particular problem. And also, are you writing it down? Are you saving it as a reminder on your phone? Or is there email, right? When the person is telling you, can you have the email, right? Because we can easily forget things very fast. For example, if I ask you, what do you have for your breakfast 2 days ago? What do you have for lunch 1 day ago? Some of you might think, oh, okay, I forgot what I have for lunch. So that can be another problem of communication, right? So in a simple word like this, for someone that wants your help in your workplace, can also have so many causes to how good this communication can be, right? And also you have to understand why it happens. So explain it to in your assignments about why this problem happens. Why is it happening? For example, we used back earlier the one that I have about the work that I need from you to support me for my work to submit next week, right? What does it happen? It could be because, well, I might have difficulties to communicate clearly to you, or you might have difficulties knowing what I'm trying to say, or you might have difficulty understanding exactly what I need, right? That could be the why. It can be also maybe because we have so many things to do that we high chances that we might forgot, right? So those are some of the few things that can happen. Just to give you an illustration here. And then the next step will be to propose a solution, right? What kind of solution do you think can help your organization with this communication problem? It can be simple as having a training, then having a guideline, right, on how we can communicate to each other better, or there's a structure, right? So people can use that structure to learn and then to be able to communicate two ways, right? Not just one way. One way will be right now, just me telling you guys what to do, right? Do it here, do it this, step one, step two, step three, do it now. So that's one way communication. Two way means that if I ask you to do it, right, then you'll be giving me a feedback saying, I don't think I understand this particular area. Can you tell me more? Can you give me examples? Or it could be a question about anything at all about the discussion that we have, right? Or for you to clarify and understand better of what I need. So that's two-way communication, right? So two-way communication is always the best way, preferably. So that's the best. It's even best if you can see that person, right? Like you seeing me right now. That's the best because there are deeper ways that how people perceive information or like to receive information. Some people just like to text, right? But texting or emailing. But if you are very good in giving details, then it might be helpful. But some people like to speak or communicate on a telephone or having a meeting, right? So they can understand better and do two-way communication instead. So there are so many ways, and you can propose a solution based on what you think would be very helpful for your organization, okay? That's having the problem. And then once you propose it, and then we have to go through action plan. Action plan means that what kind of ways do you want to make your proposal happen? For example, if we can say training. So training is also very wide. And we can say, oh, we have implementational training for a team, meaning the manager and the employee, right? Everyone would spend 2 hours next week or next month to sit together and have a training and maybe like a learning experience on how to communicate with each other or what are the challenges here, and also what time, where they have to meet, when are you going to implement this, and how you want to see this action happening and how beneficial it is. Also, do you feel that, how do we know if the people find it helpful and does this really help them? So you have to have a tracking to be able to see the results by getting feedback from them after the training. Maybe 1 week later, you can ask them again, and then follow up later on, seeing how they improve. There's another way to measure them. So maybe the total process of this take about 1 month. It can be more or less. So it's also very important to bear in mind how effective is this for the organization, because you're spending money to get people to train them up, meaning that they have to take 2 hours each to come to the training to learn, right? Whereby they can take those 2 hours to do some work, then to meet that deadline. So all these are resources that we want to make sure that we want to make sure it's very effectively used, but not too much. In example, making people feel they are overworked. So that's another negative effect later on for the company. So you want to be able to suggest the right action plan for your proposal, okay? And then followed by conclusion. Conclusion, that means after doing all of this thing, how much improvement can you see and have you see from them with your solutions, right? And then and the results, of course, from the proposal or action plan, and then followed by maybe it can end also by when doing this can happen, but also there's a conclusion whereby you can suggest that we can also implement phase 2, or there's another thing that we noticed that we haven't seen earlier from the earlier problem is actually this problem. So now we are trying to come up with this proposal and action plan for it to solve this problem, right? Because the problem can be from various areas. Your proposal have to be as accurate as possible to the problem, but sometimes you might not get it right doing it at first. So you want to be able to correct, or just to be able to understand, does the action really works, and how can you make them better, and is it effective for the people that actually take it, right? So that's how you actually do this assignments. So it's a proper way to do it, and if you really explain it well, I'm sure you get a good mark, because it's gonna help you a lot, not just by just doing this assignments, but in the future, if you were to go to work for someone, or you are a business owner, you can write a report or presentations, or have a team meeting. You can do a better communication to them. So once you have a better communication, meaning that you'll be able to get more results in and have a better positive relationship with your people around you, because they understand what you're trying to do, they support you. So all of these are from good communication, right? So not just for assignment, but this can be used in your life too in the future. So this guideline is a way that you can write your reports or in the future, but this is for your assignments. Write it in such a way, and that I'm sure it can help you tremendously with your assignments and marks. So I think it's quite clear. And I mean, should you have any question at all about this assignment or things that you do not understand, please contact us. And but before that, make sure you study the basic, and then go through the assignments, go through this video, try to understand them, find the actual challenges that you don't understand, and then come to us. We'd be more than happy to schedule a session, or to be able to guide you, to give you a better understanding on how to do it. Okay. I think for today, that's about it for your business communication assignments. And I do hope that you have a good day, and think that will be now for now. Bye bye. I'll see you next time.